Welcome to 5 Technology News. This is your host, Dr. Yavuz Selim Sılay, physician, entrepreneur, and venture architect. I have top 5 technology news that I would like to share with you. Our first news is about Google. Google highlighting more stores as free product listings come to main search page. Our second news is about Mercedes-Benz and NVIDIA. Mercedes-Benz and NVIDIA team up to develop next generation supercomputers for cars. Our third news is about China. China launches its final satellite to complete its rival to US-owned GPS system. The fourth news is about Twitter. Twitter starts rolling out audio tweets on iOS. And our final news is about Qualcomm. Qualcomm pushes 5G technology into chips for cheaper phones.
Hey guys, I got an email from a guy called Srilal based in India asking me how can I get the search bar to show up in the search results like a lot of websites do. So you will probably have seen a lot of websites when you type them in, for example Shutterstock or Mashable will have a search box show up under their listing within the Google search results page. So how exactly can you get that for your own website? Well, I'm going to walk you through exactly what you need to do in order to get that to work for you coming up. Hey guys, Darren Taylor of thebigmarketer.com, and my job is to teach you all about digital marketing. Now, if that sounds up your street, you should consider subscribing to my channel. And in this video, we are looking at the search bar, which comes under the search results of your website within the Google search results page, and how you can get yourself one of those as well. First of all, it makes sense to look at what I'm exactly talking about. So you'll see here on screen, there is a screenshot of what I am talking about. You'll see there's a search bar underneath the search result within the Google search results page. So the user can search your site directly from Google itself. So it will save the user some time. It will help them find what they're looking for on page. And of course, Google benefit from this as well, because it means they can interact and provide a better user experience for the user too. Essentially, all this is structured data. Google allows you to have structured data across your website to do a number of functions on the search results page and other places as well. This is no different to doing that. What's important to remember here is that it's at Google's complete 100% discretion whether or not it shows this result. Now, a lot of big websites you'll notice like Mashable and Shutterstock will have this show up because they're big websites getting millions and millions of hits. Now, if you're a smaller website, Google will probably not let you have this functionality because essentially they can't justify it. If you're getting not enough traffic, why would people want to search your results from the Google search results page as opposed to just going to your website? So I can understand that to some degree, but it still makes sense to get the code on your website in case Google change their mind or you slip through the net or for any other reason it can't really harm you in any way, so you might as well do it. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to jump on my computer, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to add this structured data to your website in order to make sure you have an opportunity to show with a search results box within Google.
Hey guys, so I'm going to show you how to get the search box within the search results page for your website. So it's quite an easy thing to do. However, as I mentioned, it's not something that you're guaranteed to get to work for you. It's all down to Google's discretion, and unless your traffic and your brand is strong enough, then Google probably won't do it. But I still think it's worth knowing how to do, just in case Google decides to change their mind. So just to show you what I'm talking about very quickly, I'm going to type in Shutterstock, which is a stock image website. Now, now you can see here, Shutterstock's organic search result has this search box within the result. So this is what we're going to try and put on our website. So this is what we need to do. I've saved the code I showed you in my introduction earlier in this notepad file. So I need to implement this piece of code onto the website, and I'm going to show you an example using my website, which is a WordPress website, and I'll show you how I would implement this piece of code. So the first thing I want to do with this piece of code is to make sure that it's completed correctly. So you'll see here the URL is example.com. Of course, that's just an example for the code. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my website URL into that field and paste that in there. Okay, that's part one done. The search action part's fine. The context of schema is fine. The next thing is your target for your search results. So what this area here means is this is the page you need to reference whenever your website generates a search result. So you need to follow the same pattern and then add the search query string into the pattern. So let me just show you what I mean by that. I'm going to head over to my website. I'm going to go over to my blog, just click on a random blog, and I'm going to perform a search on my site, and I'm just going to type in PPC. Okay, so now you'll realize, look at the top here in the search bar, you'll see the search result for my website, the format is $S equals, and then the search term. So for me, for my search to work for my website, I'll need to copy this part, copy this, and then paste it into this area up to where the equal sign is. So you'll see here, query.example.com/search $Q equals. That's just an example of what a search query could look like. So I'm going to paste my one in instead. So now you'll see here, https thebigmarketer.com $S equals, and then the search term string, which will automatically pull in the string for the search term. And that's it. So this piece of code now is set to enable a search result to show a search box to show for my website in the search results page. But again, it's all down to Google, so you're not necessarily going to get this to work, but let's put it on my website anyway. Okay, so now I'm going to add this code to my website. So I'm going to head back over to my site, and because I'm logged into my WordPress website already, I'm just going to go to my admin page. Now, one thing to remember is I'm showing you on a WordPress website, but no matter what technology your website's using, you can add a code into your website, whether that's manually, whether you need to speak to your web developer, or whether you can do it yourself using whichever technology or platform your website is built in. Ultimately, you need to put this code within the body of your website. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in now using a plugin in WordPress, which will insert the code into the header or footer of my site. So I'm going to go to the section I need, which is after the body tag, and then I'm going to add the code here. I'm going to copy that in and paste it. And I'm just going to tidy this up because there's quite a lot of spacing here, and I think I'll just compress it a bit, make sure it's all spaced out properly. There we go. So that code is now sitting in there, which is good, which is what we need. And now I'm going to save this data. Now you'll notice there's a desktop and mobile option for this particular site. I haven't ticked mobile on, so I don't necessarily need it to be the case. So yeah, that's now in place on my website, and I can now potentially show for a search box within Google. Now, there's one thing you need to do as well to make sure it works, and that's to test that it works in Google's eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Structured Data Testing tool, which is a tool Google have released, which shows you whether or not your structured data is working. So I'm going to head over there now. So Structured Data Testing tool. I'm going to head over there. And all it asks you to do is put your URL into this code box, and I'm going to put my URL into the box. Just going to copy that in and paste it, and then run a test. Now we'll see what structured data Google finds in my website. So I've got no errors, which is lucky, which is good. So I've got all of this data on my website from all my publishing information, all of the data and the microdata Google is seeing, which is good. So you'll see here, search term string is in there as my data. So you can see my search function is actually in there, which is good. So your potential action is search actions there. The search string is there. So all of the code I've put on my website, you can see it's been verified in Google's structured data testing tool. Therefore, it means that I am good to go. So if Google decides they want me to have a search box, and usually the kinds of searches that bring this up are searches for, like, if someone types in a brand name plus the word website or official site or something along those lines, Google likes to show it in that instance, unless you're a big brand where they just show it quite often anyway when search is a big part of your business or your website. So again, going back to the example of Shutterstock, their website is all about finding images, so having the search box there is a good thing for them. Now, it's not necessarily going to show for me, but ultimately I've done the work now. That means if Google decide they want to show it, that they will and they can, and that's it from my point of view.
Ladies and gentlemen, now I'm getting back to my 5 top technology news with the first news of Google. As I mentioned, Google is highlighting more stores as free product listings come to main search page. Back in April, Google announced that all merchants can have their goods appear for free in the shopping tab. Those free product listings are now coming to the main Google search results page. Google frames this move as a way for retailers to boost their digital commerce presence in light of physical store closures without having to pay for additional advertising. Meanwhile, Google benefits from having search show more products as a way to better compete with Amazon. Since implementing in the United States, Google says that it has seen a 70% increase in clicks across both free listings and ads, while impressions are up 130%. Small and medium-sized businesses are particularly benefiting from the hundreds of millions of people that use Google to find products every day. Free listings are now coming to the main Google search results page. They will first appear in a product's knowledge panel. The source list underneath the image carousel drops the very interesting point known as stores. So the stores list underneath the image carousel can be seen clearly as the sponsored label, as merchants no longer have to pay to appear. That said, Google is still promoting shopping ads which will appear at the top of the page and be labeled. Meanwhile, the full stores tab will surface more places to buy, thus giving shoppers expanded choice. The change will first apply to mobile, and desktops will follow later. Google plans to make free listings available in more places around the world this year.
Take me to Ntr headquarters.
Would you like to take the scenic route?
Our second news is Mercedes-Benz and NVIDIA. Mercedes-Benz and NVIDIA team up to develop next-generation supercomputers for cars. Autonomous driving, ladies and gentlemen, auto software updates, and much more. Mercedes-Benz is teaming up with NVIDIA to develop the next-generation computing platform for vehicles that will support everything from the over-the-air software updates to automated driving. The German automaker said it plans to begin rolling out the new technology across its fleet starting in 2024. The new platform will be based on an NVIDIA system on a chip, Orin technology, and will also use the San Jose-based company's full drive AGX software stack. NVIDIA first unveiled Orin at CES in December 2019. And aside from top-line specifications such as the ability to deliver up to 200 trillion operations per second while using less power, the company has yet to provide any further details. This new platform includes a full system software stack that can support a variety of automated driving applications, including advanced driver assist systems like Tesla's Autopilot and Cadillac's Super Cruise, as well as driverless parking functions like Tesla's Smart Summon. This new platform includes a full system software stack that can support a variety of automated driving applications. It will also enable smartphone-style over-the-air software updates on all Mercedes vehicles starting in 4 years. Legacy automakers have struggled to catch up to Tesla, which has long been the leader in shipping over-the-air auto updates to its customers to change everything from its autopilot driver assistance system to the range of its electric vehicles. It's similar to how Apple or Samsung, for example, can update or repair the software on a smartphone. NVIDIA's drive system can track a driver's head and eyes to assess when they are paying attention to the road, and it can monitor blink frequency to assess drowsiness. Depending on a manufacturer's preferences, NVIDIA says the system can alert the driver using audio, visual, or haptic warnings to return their focus to the road. Drive IX can also monitor the environment outside the vehicle. If a driver is about to exit the vehicle without looking at a bicyclist approach alongside, NVIDIA says Drive IX provides an alert or physically prevents the door from opening until the bicyclist has safely passed. GM was one of the first major automakers to introduce an OTA system after Tesla. Ford said recently it would start rolling out software updates for its 2020 models. Now Daimler is ready to join the fray. By downloading new functions and upgrades from the cloud, we want to continuously bring the system up to date, thereby increasing the value of the vehicle, Daimler CEO Ola Källenius said on Tuesday in a joint statement with NVIDIA. Daimler is ready to join the OTA fray. The announcement is coming on the heels of the news that Mercedes' parent company Daimler and BMW were ending their automated driving partnership, a fact that didn't escape from industry analysis. The two German auto giants announced in early 2019 plans to spend over $1 billion on a joint mobility effort that spans autonomous cars, ride-hailing, electric scooters, car sharing, and electric car charging. But this week, the two companies said the autonomous vehicle portion of the alliance would be put on hold. According to Auto News, Daimler said that BMW cooperation would have meant Mercedes would not be able to use the technology as quickly as it should be able to now with NVIDIA. I think it's no coincidence, said Sam Abdus-Samid, principal analyst at Guidehouse, on the timing of the announcement. He suspects that the two automakers couldn't agree on a platform to use, and right now, Orin looks like a much more powerful solution than anything coming from Intel Mobileye. BMW is part of a supergroup which includes Intel Mobileye and Fiat Chrysler that is working on the development of semi-autonomous and fully autonomous technologies for production vehicles. Abdus-Samid noted that it's unclear how well the NVIDIA software stack will perform compared to other solutions. NVIDIA is very focused on the neural network software, he said, and the most of the industry is shifting back to a mix of deterministic and probabilistic AI, artificial intelligence algorithms. NVIDIA is one of the world's best-known manufacturers of computer graphic cards, has for several years been engaged in a high-stakes venture to build the brains that power self-driving cars in the hopes of selling them to major automakers like Volvo, Volkswagen, and Daimler. The Santa Clara-based company wants to be the go-to supercomputer for those who may balk at the enormous expense associated with becoming a full-stack AV operator.
起飞，起飞时间动9时43分动4秒，秒动毫秒。程序转弯，程序转弯。
特装勤务、供电等10多个分系统。
Ladies and gentlemen, our third news is about China. China launches its final satellite to complete its rival to the US-owned GPS system. China sent the last satellite to space in June 2020 to complete its global navigation system that will help wean it off US technology in this area. The network known as Beidou, which has been in the works for over 2 decades, is a significant step for China's space and technology ambitions. Beidou is a rival to the United States government-owned Global Positioning System, GPS, which is widely used across the world. China sent the last satellite to space recently to complete its global navigation system that will help wean it off US technology in this area. The network known as Beidou, which has been in the works for over 2 decades, is a significant step for China's space and technology ambitions. Beidou is a rival to the United States government-owned Global Positioning System, GPS, which is currently widely used across the world. Experts told that Beidou will help China's military stay online in case of a conflict with the United States. But the launch is also part of Beijing's push to increase its technological influence globally. The launch of this final satellite, which was broadcast on state media channel CGTN, was deemed a success. And it was the second attempt to complete the navigation network after a previously scheduled launch that was postponed due to technical issues. Plans for China's own system took shape in the late 1990s, and the first version of Beidou was in service by 2000, providing coverage for satellite-based services to China. The second iteration was completed by 2012 and provided service to the Asia-Pacific region. This third version, which is now completed and which consists of 30 satellites, will mean the Beidou network now has global coverage. Our fourth news is about Twitter. Twitter starts rolling out audio tweets on iOS, ladies and gentlemen. So now you can know more about audio tweeting. Twitter is rolling out the ability to record audio snippets and attach them to your tweets. The new feature is available first on iOS and launching very recently for a limited group of people, according to the company. Sometimes 280 characters aren't enough, and some conversational nuances are lost in translation. So now, Twitter is testing a new feature that will add a more human touch to the way we use Twitter, your very own voice. Twitter's Maya Patterson and Remy Borgon wrote in a blog post, if you've got access to it, you'll see a new waveform icon beside the camera icon when composing a tweet. Tap that, and a red record button appears at the bottom of the screen, which you can tap to start recording your message. Each voice tweet captures up to 140 seconds of audio. Have more to say? Keep talking. Once you reach the time limit for a tweet, a new voice tweet starts automatically to create a thread, Twitter said. Audio can only be added to original tweets, according to this help page, so you can't include them in replies or retweets with a comment. Another minor thing to note is that whatever your profile picture is, when you record an audio clip, will always be attached to that audio tweet. Your current profile photo will be added as a static image on your audio attachment and will not refresh if you update your profile photo, Twitter says. You can listen to audio tweets by hitting the play button. On iOS, Twitter says a dock will appear near the bottom of the app, so you can listen to audio tweets and continue scrolling through your timeline. They'll also keep playing in the background if you switch to another app. Audio tweets could pose new moderation challenges for Twitter, and it's also important to remember the accessibility factor here. The Verge asked Twitter for more details on how it will make it easier for people who are deaf or hard of hearing to access these audio tweets. And the response was, this is an early test of audio for them, and they are still exploring the best ways to meet the needs of people with different abilities. Ladies and gentlemen, my final technology news is about Qualcomm. Qualcomm pushes 5G tech into chips for cheaper phones. And it is putting 5G technology into chips for smartphones that will sell for as little as $300. And that will come to market in the second half of this year. San Diego-based Qualcomm is the biggest supplier of processors for smartphones and the modem chips that connect the phones to wireless data networks. The company's chips featuring 5th generation 5G cellular telecommunications technology are currently in many premium priced smartphones such as Samsung's Electronic Company Limited's Galaxy devices. But Qualcomm has also been working to get the technology into cheaper devices. The new chip, called the Snapdragon 690, will go into devices that it expects to retail at $300 to $500, Qualcomm said. Phone makers such as HMD Global, the owner of the Nokia phone brand, LG Electronics Inc., and Lenovo Group Limited's Motorola plan to use the chips, Qualcomm said. The push into lower price points means higher volumes for Qualcomm. According to data from Counterpoint Research, smartphones with wholesale prices of $100 to $400, which are somewhat lower than the prices consumers pay, made up about 50% of the overall smartphone market in the first quarter of 2020. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This covers today's 5 technology news. I'm your host, Dr. Yavuz Selim Sılay, physician, entrepreneur, and venture architect. Really honored and thrilled that we are able to share the amazing news from Ntr TV to our 900 million viewers across Africa. Take care and all the best. Bye.